everybody. My name is Renee Burns, and I am completing Module 1, EDL 850 School Law. I graduated from Fort Hays State University undergrad about 13 years ago, and I met my husband there, and we stayed because we loved it so much, and we both got jobs here in the district. I've been teaching all of my 13 years at O'Laughlin Elementary. I absolutely adore my building. It has my heart, and I cannot speak enough good things about it. So I teach at a looping school, which is really interesting. So if you're interested in knowing more about it, let me know and I can message you. But I teach the 2nd and 3rd grade loop, so I keep my kids for 2 years. I am part of the building leadership team, foundations team, and then I also create a daily news segment for all of the staff and students, and it's focused mostly on positive behaviors and social emotional learning. I also benefit greatly from being so close to Fort Hays. I'm the mentor teacher for student teachers, and I have lots of interns, and so I love their spunk and their excitement for teaching. Getting up there in the years of teaching, 13 years isn't that bad, but I don't want to become stuck in my ways, so I want to always grow and learn. So I find that that's a very good way to do that. A little about my personal life. My 2 little boys down there, Brody and Byron. Brody's actually going to middle school next year, so that's kind of heartbreaking for me, but I've loved having them there with me at school. There's nothing better. My husband and I, like I said, met here at Hays in children's literature. He taught for a while, became a counselor, and then now he's the director of the CAMS program at Fort Hays. We love the Chiefs. Go Chiefs. And Super Bowl was like a memory I'll never forget, special moment. Hoping this next year we can pull out another one. And then the national parks systems are we just love traveling to the national parks, and kind of sad this summer we didn't get to do that. We had 4 on our list, and but we are doing our part, staying home, loving each other, and keeping our community safe. Here we go. All right, so governments and how they support our public education. So we've got our local, state, and federal. Through research, I found out I knew not very much about this, so I was excited to learn. In most cases, though, your local government is going to provide the majority of your funding through local tax dollars. Now, in our case, in Kansas, we're about 50-50, but I think it depends, too, on your demographics of your town or county that you live in, on how that works. The state, though, I found an interesting stat that it said in 2017, the U.S. Census Bureau reported that Kansas received 64% of the public school funding from state revenue. So a little contradictory there, but find that interesting. And then our federal government typically sets aside about 1/10 of the government-run spending costs. And then another cool thing that I found was about 10% of more than $600 billion is spent annually on public schools. Thought that was interesting to share. All right, so our local government and how it supports education. So here I have our superintendent, Ron Wilson, and his job is really the daily operations of the school. Now, I don't like the word power, but I would say that the powerful parts of your local government is going to be held more in the school board. So we have volunteers who are elected to the school board. It is a non-paid position, and their job is to finalize the decisions that our superintendent or our building leaders have presented to them. So being that they can finalize those decisions, I feel like they're very powerful. So some of those decisions might include curriculum materials, employment and dismissal of personnel, construction of buildings, providing transportation, salary schedules, and school calendar. And then moving to our state government, and how they support public education. So we have our Commissioner of Education, Randy Watson. It's a paid position. He works alongside the state legislator, the State Board of Education, and then KSDE, which is our Kansas state Department of Education. So I went ahead, I kind of jumped the gun there. I went ahead and purchased the book that I thought we were going to have, and actually it was wonderful. I learned so much. Chapter 1 talked about police powers, and so this allows the states to create laws and regulations to ensure health and safety of the staff and the students. So alongside that, or an example of that would be like your attendance and your immunization requirements. And then the state is in charge of policy development, curriculum standards, teacher qualifications, and graduate requirements. And moving on to our federal government. We have our lovely Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, and she's working alongside the executive branch, Congress at times, executive branch, Congress, and then U.S. Department of Education. I did learn that we've got the Every Student Succeeds Act, the FERPA, which I kind of knew is like a privacy law, and then IDEA was the Individuals with Disability Act, and then the workplace laws and regulations. All of those things are done throughout the federal government. And some of the things that they are required to do, or that we are depending on them to do, would be that the secretary and the department work together to play a leadership role in the ongoing national dialogue for improving our educational system. So they must ensure that no student is denied equal education, that there is funding for our high needs, that there is educational research that measures the effectiveness, and then to support continuous improvement. All right, to me, I feel like they overlapped quite a bit, but I kind of underlined some keywords that I felt like helped me out a little bit. So component 1 talked about school level governance, and then your mission and vision for your school. Now, for me, that sounds like a local standard, or that the local government would take care of that. But I do feel like, it's going to cover over into the state and federal, but mostly local on that one. Component 2, data-informed and equitable resourcing plans that supports school improvement. Obviously, with all of our KISA things that we're doing, that's going to be state, but also locally. So we're working together locally and state. And then component 6.3, the laws and rights and policies, that's going to come down from federal, but it's extremely important that state government is reminding us of those things or checking in to make sure that we have those things in place. And then it's our job as teachers or the staff to make sure that we are aware of those laws, rights, and policies. And I feel like that's where I definitely did not do a good job, or was not aware of some of those things. So I feel like this is valid or valuable information to share with my colleagues. All right, I had some fun with this part. So how does all of this, all of these tiers, help with educational success and the well-being for all? And so what I wanted to do is, since it's summer and hopefully my children will be playing baseball, I kind of tied it together with baseball. So if you think about our little T-ball babies who are learning to play, our job is to provide the modifications to help them be successful as let's pretend that we are staff members at a school, to give emotional support. We need to make sure that the basic needs are met, that we are very hands-on and we have that direct contact. So our local government's going to be right there with those students to do those things. Now, the state government is going to give us our supplies. So they're going to give us the requirements that are needed so that we are aware of what we should be teaching, the curriculum standards, graduate requirements, teacher qualifications. So they're providing all of the outline or the supplies that we need to be successful. And then the federal government is there to make sure that everything's fair and that there's equal opportunities for all. They are establishing the laws and regulations. And then I had to throw in, just for fun, that the curveballs are changing weather, coronavirus, full moons, and state testing. So I feel like this is kind of a informal way of doing this, but it's kind of fun, and it helped me kind of understand and think about how all this can be looked at in a playful way. My references, and I think that's it. I can't wait to learn from you all, and I'm sure your experiences, I noticed that many of you are from different places, so I am interested in learning all about your experiences, and I can't wait to learn more. Have a great month. It'll go fast.